Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Thank y'all, everybody, for staying with us as we progress through the duration of the show here. Ain't no half step with Marcus J, the flagship show right here on Legacy Internet Radio. Be down with us tonight at 804-402-2893, which is the number to dial to be a part of the show. I typically don't like to go backwards, but I do want to ask. I want to actually mention one thing that kind of is relevant. It's a new update to what we talked about earlier with Adrian Peterson. Apparently, he is facing additional charges alongside the charges that we knew about this week. There has been a separate incident involving another son who is also 4 years old. He, of course, is facing additional charges. One thing that we did not mention earlier about Adrian Peterson, we know that he was indicted recently, but what we didn't mention was that the first grand jury chose not to indict him back in August. So this was the second grand jury. So you had a group of people who already saw this case and said, nah, he ain't do nothing wrong. We're not going to bother with it until now. He's gotten indicted. I think he got indicted late last week, and now there's an incident of a second case. So we'll see where this story takes. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J. Tony, we didn't get your opinion on the Adrian Peterson or the Ray Rice situation with the domestic violence, and we saw the video last week. So I want to see if I can just get your opinion really quick. You can either mention Ray Rice or you can mention Adrian Peterson. Ray Rice, of course, is the fellow who is on the video striking his girlfriend in the elevator. Adrian Peterson is the fella who has been accused of beating his child a little bit excessively, the 4-year-old. I've got a question specific to Ray Rice that I'm going to pose to the group, but if you want to give me your opinion, I want to kind of touch on this really quick, y'all, because I want to move on since we talked about it earlier today.
I guess for Adrian Peterson, I didn't see the pictures of his son that supposedly the little boy's mother took of like the kind of the after effects with the marks and things like that. But it sounds like it's a bit excessive. I totally am okay with spanking children. I think we've talked about that before. But it does sound like he may have taken it too far.
As far as Ray Rice is concerned, I know, and this is an angle that we didn't talk about, but we've talked about where I'm about to go in the past. We saw how Adrian hit his girlfriend. There's no question that, in my mind, there's no question that he needs to be punished for what he did, whether it be, suspended from the NFL. I don't really care about that. I think he's got more legal issues to worry about as opposed to his job. But we all also saw the video with Solange Knowles and Jay-Z in an elevator in a similar setting, and we saw how aggressive she was about attacking him. And as far as I'm aware, to this day, there's been no charges against her with regards to any domestic violence or anything like that. Now, we also know that the incidences of men assaulting women are higher. But there are some cases where it is, in fact, the other way around. And when we talked earlier tonight, is it possible for a man to be provoked by a woman? So I'll ask the question, go around the room, everybody, real quick. Just give me your opinion on this, and then we're going to move on to other stuff. But does anybody think that Solange Knowles should have been charged if Ray Rice is charged? Tony, I'll start with you.
My mother raised me, and to basically, I agree. I'm just going to say this. I'm probably going to get a whole lot of slack for it. But if you hit a man, expect him to hit you back. That's kind of the way I was raised. So, I think Whoopi Goldberg said it best. If you hit somebody, they have the right to hit you back. So, Jay-Z could have, pressed charges against Solange, but if he had hit her back, I would have been okay with it.
Right. Big Rope, what's your thoughts?
I'll repeat what I said earlier. People can do it to both. I don't think it's a sex thing. I think it's a people-to-people thing.
Well, let me more specifically ask the question again. Do we think, because Ray Rice was charged, do we think that Solange Knowles should have been charged when you look at that video? I mean, most of us saw both videos.
Well, a lot of it is, I honestly, yes. but a lot of it is the state where it is, because in some states they can press charges without you having to press charges, which is what happened in Atlantic City. Because she didn't press charges, the state pressed charges.
Okay.
And in that instance, I mean, I'm pretty sure Jay-Z was like, don't worry about it, it's whatever. It's not going to hurt me. If anything, it makes me better. That's why.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Ruben on that part. But, you know, if you hit me, I'll hit you back.
Right.
My mother taught us the same thing, myself and my brothers. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Whoever hits you,
Right.
you have the right to defend yourself.
I was raised that way as well. I was raised with a younger sister, and you know, I was raised to be fiercely protective of her and to never lay my hands on her, which is the way that I conduct myself as a man. I'm going to get this comment in. I'm going to finish my point. Jackie's listening to us. What's up, Jackie, up in Philly? Jackie says she saw the video, Ray Rice video. You can tell that he didn't mean to knock her out. It looks like a mistake. She thinks that it was just another way to attack the black men in the media, which is propaganda. And she also says that Solange didn't mean to knock him out. I disagree with that. I think that it's pretty clear that he didn't. Just my opinion. I don't think it was an accident. I mean, he dropped her pretty good. As far as the, you know, to kind of finish my point, I was raised not to raise my hand to a woman no matter what she did. And so when I look at the Jay-Z Solange video, I would tend to err on that side. You know, a lot of people challenge me by saying, well, he had his bodyguard there. Who knows what would have happened if his bodyguard wasn't there. I think where someone like me could potentially be at a disadvantage because I'm so staunchly against raising my hand to a woman, I could at some point come across a woman who doesn't care, who knows that I'm not going to raise my hand, and is going to be so viciously coming after me, knowing that I'm not going to drop her, that I may not be able to defend myself. And any young man that I may raise with that same kind of mentality could potentially be at a disadvantage or even potentially in danger because of that mindset. And I want just one last quick comment from about that from everybody else, and then we're going to move on. SY, you up first.
You know, there's really not too much to say about that. You do have the right to defend yourself.
Right.
You know, if it gets to the point where you know, or any guy who won't hit a girl back and she knows it, you know, and she provokes you that way, you know, you might want to just push her away. You may want to just stay away from her, period. Or if you have a sister, call your sister.
I got you, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it doesn't matter one way or another. You know, a guy hitting a girl hitting a guy. You have to practice restraint. So if you're with someone and you know that they're, you know, that's their thing, they like to fight, then you need to be the man or the woman and leave that relationship.
Big rope.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm definitely not going to put my hands on a woman. However, I'm not going to lie. There is a limitation, you know. I mean, one thing, if you're hitting me or whatnot, it is what it is. You start picking up foreign objects, we might have a problem.
You know, hashtag with Marcus J. Thank you to everybody that's listening to us live on TuneIn. Special thank you to everybody that's listening to the replays right now on YouTube. Of course, any show that we do can be found on YouTube. Just search VUU Panther on YouTube, and that'll pull up my personal page, which is where I archive all of the Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J shows that we've literally ever done. Everything that we've done is there. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial to be a part of the show live with us right here tonight. I teased it coming out of that last commercial break, and we talked about an actress that was detained by the LAPD. I'm getting this one from MIC.com, but you can pretty much get this story from anywhere on the internet. It's out there now. Got a black actress by the name of Danielle Watts, who says she was handcuffed and detained by police officers of the LAPD at CBS's Studio City production facility last week on Thursday after allegedly being mistaken for a prostitute. According to accounts by Watts and her partner, Brian James Lucas, two police officers mistook them for a couple for a prostitute, mistook the couple, I should say, for a prostitute and client where they were seen showing affection in public. When the officers asked Watts to produce a photo ID when questioned, she refused. Watts was subsequently handcuffed and placed in the back of a police cruiser while officers attempt to figure out who she was. The two officers released her shortly thereafter. Watts told BuzzFeed that she had accompanied a friend to a diversity showcase before meeting Lucas at his car. Quote, I sat on his lap in the front seat of the car and we began to make out. She told BuzzFeed a man from nearby office came out and asked the couple to stop putting on the show. The police arrived shortly thereafter. Watts, who played Coco in Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained, currently stars in Martin Lawrence's vehicle Partners. So if you look at the video or you look at the photographs online, she looks familiar. That is why. So that's why I want you up first. You got this woman who was detained for making out with her partner in a parked car. What do you think about this?
I think that sucks, and it's because the officer assumed, and first thing out of my face is going to be he assumed so because she was black and he wasn't. So, what can you do? Well, I don't even know what to say behind it.
Big Rope.
It is clear that this douchebag called the cops on him because he came out and told him to stop, and then the cops came after. 2 and 2 together. Hey, I don't want you doing your what I want you to be doing, in public thing. So you know what? Hey, mind your own damn business, because you just mad that you ain't getting nothing right there. So just sit there, mind your business, and keep moving. She did what she was supposed to do. She did everything right, and she is not at fault. LAPD, unfortunately, I think they were just answering a call from some douchebag who was like, there's a prostitute out there with this white guy, and they keep making out and they're bothering me, and that's where you have rules come into play, which it is what it is. He was sexually harassed because a beautiful black woman was making out with a white guy, and it is what it is, and it wasn't to his liking. So he called the LAPD. Now the LAPD look like a bunch of idiots because they arrested a star. Good job,
Tony.
Okay, pardon me, but my mind went a whole other way. So they're in LA, so there are interracial couples everywhere, but this is not like, some little podunk town where, oh my gosh, they're like the only mixed race couple here. My mind went to, she must look really rough for him to think she was a prostitute. Not saying that it's okay. I'm not saying that, their line of questioning and putting her in the car and all that was all right, but that's where my mind went. Like, she must have looked toe down for them to be like, she's a prostitute.
I'm looking at this a couple of different ways. I guess the first thing, my natural instinct is for me to make stuff about race. You get a lot of folks, particularly our white brothers and sisters, who say stuff like, well, you can't always make it about race. Well, when you live as a black person in this country, then you tell me to not always make it about race. Until you do that, then you don't get to say that. That's the first thing. But this one, I'm on the fence about this one being about race, because when I first heard it, it was a race thing for me. But now when I realized they was getting it in the car. They was getting it in a car. And like Rube said, you had a witness who saw them getting it in a car who didn't like it, who called the cops. And when the cops showed up, they was like, what y'all doing in that car? Now, the leap that they took, that she was a prostitute, there's white prostitutes. It's L.A. There's black prostitutes. It's L.A.
But I think that came from the dude who called the cops.
And it very well may have come from the dude that called the cops out there. And so there's a lot of us who want to make this one a race issue. It may very well be one. But y'all know me, man. Y'all know I'm real quick to throw my fist up in the air. On this one, I'm not really sure. I think that here's my question. What's up with the dude not defending his lady? You know what I mean? Like, you right there with her. You with her. Whether that's your wife, your girlfriend, your friend with benefit, whatever you are to her, y'all was clearly in that car doing what y'all was doing together.
But we don't know that he didn't. We
That's
don't
true.
even know what they put.
And we don't know.
This video of it, not just them still photos, and the video of it shows him, because that video comes from him. The video that you see comes from him. The still photos come from the video that was taken.
Came from the boyfriend.
Yes, he's the
Well,
one.
He's a punk. She said dump
He's
him.
a punk, and there's
Dump
also
him.
an audio 911 tape where you can hear in the background she's on the phone with her dad, and she's trying to get advice from her dad, and her cop is like trying to tell her to get off the phone and trying to get her the ID and all of this kind of stuff. Not one time do you hear her friend, her boyfriend, or her male friend say anything. It would be a perfect opportunity to be like, yo, we not no prostitute John type of situation here. And when they asked her for ID, you know, being the angry sister, she was like, I ain't giving you no ID. I ain't do nothing wrong. That's how she ended up in handcuffs. Big Roo.
All right. Oh, God. What if, you know, and I'm not taking anybody's side here, but there's some times, man, where, you know, cop could have rolled up. They could have been like, oh, I got this. And she could have been like, yo, let me handle it, baby. And just, hey, don't
What
do
kind of
anything.
real man
Well,
would
hold
stand
on.
for that?
Well, hold
No, I
on.
don't know
I'll
any
just
man that-
hold on.
I don't even know if I should let you go there, Ruben. What kind of real
Hold
man
on.
is going to stand there and let another man do his lady like that?
Well, I mean,
You never know what her reason was.
exactly.
You never know what her reason was behind that. She's an actress.
But she's
So
not as
here,
popular as him.
Let me go ahead and I'm going to fix the LAPD. When they find out what they did wrong, this is what they're going to look like.
And this is the Ray Rice situation. She tried to defend her man. She tried to take that bid,
I
and
completely don't see
they
it
was
like
just
that.
like, no.
You know, and Jackie's asking if she thought that the guy got arrested. Neither of them got arrested. She eventually acquiesced to the officer's request to show ID. When she was able to prove who she was, they let her go. After a while of her being defiant and saying, I'm not giving you no ID, she eventually ended up giving him ID, and they were both allowed to leave.
My question is, why was she so defiant about giving the ID?
because she didn't do anything wrong.
Well,
And that's the problem. I think oftentimes you got civilians who got a chip on their shoulder, justifiably so. When you look at the news and you look at television and you see all these police officers acting crazy, finally you get people who know their rights. I ain't do nothing wrong, and I don't have to show you who I am.
well, and for me, so this kind of invoked a thought just now. This makes me want to pull the race card because being a prostitution is illegal, but is it solicitation of a prostitute illegal as well? So shouldn't they have addressed the boyfriend if they thought she was a prostitute? That makes him a John.
Yeah.
He should have been in cuffs as well.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So
I agree, you know, and so, you know, again, I'm not sure how I'm attaching race to this one. I'm sure someone who's a lot more media savvy than I am could give me some sort of insight, and I'd be happy to listen to it. If you want to be that person and call us at 804-402-2893, if you're listening to us in social media and you want to kind of help enlighten us or enlighten me along with the crew, feel free to do it along with the listeners. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. I think we'll have to come to a point where we agree to disagree on this one as a crew, because I stand firm on, you know, dude was a punk. Because the only reason why we know about this, aside from her tweets, is because the video he took where you don't even hear his voice. You know, and the 911 tape that is still out there, you know, where you don't hear his voice. You hear her talking to her dad on the telephone, and you hear her talking to the cop, but you don't hear him. He don't say nothing.
But you're also gonna sit here and be like, I mean, are you gonna sit here and possibly deny that she possibly could have been like, yo, I'm gonna handle this. I want you to record it just in case some stuff go down. Yada yada yada.
That's possible.
I mean, because
That's very possible.
I mean,
I guess I'm a chauvinist because it wouldn't go down like that with me.
And I understand that, but you know, there is a time where, you know, keeping it real goes wrong, and you know, it's very possible that could have happened here. And I agree with you. I think he should have said something, but by the fact that the video came from him, he says nothing, and she goes through all this. I think he was given instructions to do certain things, and he followed his instructions. He might have been like, yo, let me get out here. Nah, baby, I got it. You just do this, do that.
Okay.
And when some people make up their mind, what are you going to do?
I'll concede to you guys that is wholly possible.
We wearing you down.
It's not about wearing me down. It's you know, it's me being fair and saying that you guys make a good point. I just disagree with it. It is not how I would handle it, me personally.
But we're wearing you down. I like that.
But it ain't you.
No, obviously it's not. But I reserve the right to have my opinion about it. And my opinion about it is he was a punk. Period. It's that simple. You know?
All right, everyday. He was a bum.
Yeah.
It is,
Okay.
it is what it is. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J. All right.
He wasn't a punk though.
Okay. Whatever. I wonder how she feels about it now that it has gone viral. I wonder how she feels about
That's
him.
exactly what she wanted that to do.
Well, yeah, she did, and she pulled the "Do you know who I am?" card. You know, I'm an actress. She pulled that card. Yeah,
Next
she
time
did.
They will think.
But it probably would not have gone viral if she didn't allow it to go viral.
Well, she made it viral.
If
She
he
actually
would've
she
spoke,
tweeted it and all
would
that
have
kind
never
of stuff.
gone viral.
Yeah, but she told him to put the video out there.
Well, he recorded it, and she tweeted about it.
Yeah, and she told him to put the video out there.
I mean, I'm sure that's what
So,
the case.
I mean-
All I'm saying is, and I think we're getting away from the original point of the story about how the police just rolled up on them. But if he had opened his mouth, they probably wouldn't have even been out there for that long. Personally, that's just how I feel about it. And my lady saying, "Baby, be quiet," while the police put me in handcuffs. Are you freaking kidding me? You got my lady in handcuffs for kissing me, and I'm supposed to just stand there and listen to you? Nah, yo.
Look, man.
Nah,
Look,
yo.
I mean, you say what you want, man, but
Nah, yo.
there are some circles where it's like that.
Yeah, well, I
You
don't
know,
live in
it
that
may not
circle.
be your circle,
It's not my circle.
but there are circles where it's like that.
Okay.
And
Well,
you
we'll,
know,
we'll poll the room real quick. That's why. Would you tell your man to be quiet and don't say nothing while the cops got you in cuffs?
Depending on the situation, yeah.
Would you feel some kind of way about him later on that he didn't say a word?
No.
Tony, how you feel about that?
That's crazy. I'm with you. Okay, maybe she don't know. I got it. No, this ain't right. But as soon as you see him pulling out those cuffs, I need you to intercede and be the man that you're supposed to be.
Big Rope,
I mean,
would you be quiet if your lady told you to be quiet and watch her get cuffed?
if she vehemently told me not to do anything, then yes.
Okay, all right.
She's-
Well, we're
it could have been, if it gets violent or if you think violence is about to happen, then yeah. But there was no violence. She did what she did for a reason.
Yeah.
She did what she did for
all
a
right.
reason.
Well, we'll have to agree to disagree and be 2-2 on this one. Ain't no how Steppin with Marcus. J 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. And this name is a name that we've heard. It's an infamous name. We've heard it many times. We're going to hear it one more time. George Zimmerman is back in the news. George Zimmerman got into a kerfluffle with a passing motorist. Allegedly last week on Tuesday, he threatened a motorist's life during a road rage incident. Matthew Aberson said he was listening to music in his car when he was verbally assailed by two men in a truck at a stoplight in Lake Marys, Florida. That's why you want to tell the listeners where I'm getting this story from.
The Huffington Post, darling.
Police spokeswoman Bianca Gillette told the news station that a man recognized the truck driver as Zimmerman. The man said Zimmerman was carrying a gun and asked, "Do you know who I am?" before saying, "I will effing kill you."
I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
Aberson placed a 911 call reporting an incident from the gas station. The call can be heard. And basically, the driver says that George Zimmerman threatened him, threatened his life. Reason why I bring this up is a lot of us know about how we feel about this case, but I brought this up again to say that this dude is out of his mind. Like, how many different cases do we have to see where he's attached to it and people don't realize that they got this wrong down there in Florida? Anybody want to say anything about this one? Am I out on a limb?
Well, no, but double jeopardy is illegal.
Well, yeah, ask Ray Rice about double jeopardy. But yeah, I got you.
I think he's
In a
gonna
court of
do-
law.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna do something stupid enough to land himself in jail.
like
Has
OJ
he
did.
already done already?
No, but long enough for somebody to get him, and he's not gonna make it out.
I don't know. Hank, telling people, old people with a gun get you in jail usually.
You think so?
Usually.
You think so?
Not necessarily.
Usually.
Anybody see the video that showed the two witnesses in Ferguson, Missouri, that two white dudes, contractors from out of town, that are screaming at the police because the police just shot him from 20 feet away. And you got these two dudes. There's a video of these two dudes screaming at the police saying, "Why did y'all do that?" Anybody see that video? Nobody's? This is a video of two white guys. They're contractors. And they were passing through Ferguson, Missouri on the day that Michael Brown was killed by the police officer. And you can see them in the video screaming at the police saying he had his effing hands in the air.
Yeah, they were like kind of down the block from it.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Anybody see that video?
I saw
So
it.
my question is, while we got all of this craziness going on in the world, you know, let's not forget that we still haven't seen this police officer who's collecting a ton of money, who's living high off the hog right now, who hasn't been fired or charged. I don't think we've mentioned that at all today, that this is still out there pending.
So you didn't. I don't know if you had it on the agenda tonight, and I'm going to try to look up his name really quick. But the 22-year-old who was just shot in Utah.
Which one? Oh, the Utah one.
In
I thought you were going to
Utah.
ask about the Ohio one, or maybe the Los Angeles one, or maybe the other one in Florida.
Well, no, this
Which time the cop shot an unarmed man?
This
or this
one
Okay.
supposedly
The one that had the machete.
was at the police officers with a sword,
Yeah.
but when he lunged at them with the sword, he got shot
12
6
times.
times in the back or
Yeah. Exactly.
That's 12 times.
so. In
Yeah,
the back.
In the back.
In the back, that
In the
doesn't
back.
make
In the
any
back.
sense.
Well, of course it doesn't. Because anytime a cop shoots an unarmed person or kills an unarmed person, it doesn't make sense to anybody except for the people making the decisions on what happens to the shooter or the killer. Tony?
Okay, so I need to know why as many witnesses that there as were there when Mike Brown was shot and killed. That didn't really mean anything until some non-Brown witnesses. You get some footage of some non-Brown witnesses that confirm what the Brown witnesses says, and now it could be legit.
It still don't matter because they still ain't charged them. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. What's going to end up happening, like oftentimes happens in these cases, is this dude's going to end up not suffering any real serious legal implications. And you got the guy that killed Oscar Grant in, you know, the train station in Oakland, shot him in the back while he was handcuffing him and said, "Oh, my bad, I was reaching for my taser." I mean, come on, man. This is how this works, you know. And I'm playing the race card because I'm pointing it out. I'm playing the race card because I'm debating somebody that can't give me 5 white dudes that's killed by police in the last 10 years, but I've been reading the names of 20 that's happened over the last few years. But I'm playing the race card then. I mean, what the hell is up with that? Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J. All right. This next one is a little bit crazy. I'm not even really sure how to even go about this one. I'm having a good laugh at myself. This one's about Nicki Minaj.
Oh, I
And
read that.
This one's about Nicki Minaj, and I don't think that I've ever done a story about Nicki Minaj on this show before. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I don't remember ever doing a story about Nicki Minaj. I'm not.
You haven't.
I'm not a fan of her music. You know, I'm not, you know, really a fan of hers in any way or anything like that. But this story I found was very, very interesting, and I think our listeners would be interested in the way we'll kind of present this one. I'm getting this one from thegrio.com. It's about Nicki Minaj. She was interested in going back to her old high school in New York City. She graduated from Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School in New York City back in 2000, and she was planning on a speaking engagement with the students there. Quote, "I wanted to go back to my high school and speak to the students, but the new principal declined." And when asked by one of her 18 million followers on Instagram or Twitter, I guess it's Twitter, she said they asked her if the school gave her a good reason, and she said, "Not really. I guess I'm not good enough." She later tweeted that the school changed my life, and I wanted to pay it forward to the students there now. I was looking forward to it. The Griot actually reached out to LaGuardia High School for comment and received the following statement from Marge Feinberg at the New York City Department of Education press office, saying, quote, "We do not allow reality TV to be filmed on school property for documentaries. Any visit to a public school must be educational in nature and cannot intrude on instruction, and decision about whether we can accommodate visits from celebrities is entirely up to the principal who manages the property," end quote. So, ladies, I want you guys in on this one first. Tony, Nicki Minaj wanted to go back to her school. They said no. Essentially, they don't like to have video cameras. My personal opinion, I'll share after you guys, but I want your opinion on this one first. Tony, you're first.
That's malarkey about the, I mean, yeah, it may be true, but they could have made a concession. Nicki Minaj is not anybody that I want my child looking up to. She's ratchet. She just got millions of dollars. Boo.
That's why.
Now, come on. You know you want your kid to learn how to drop it low and twerk and
She
all
doesn't
that
do
other
all that.
stuff, do lap dances and the whole nine. It's just because of what she represents that she was not welcome in the school. Nothing more.
Big Rope.
I mean, I think it's messed up because, I mean, you know, it's not even. See, it's the funny part about this is, you know, the ladies talk about all the stuff that is out there and what she does to get paid and whatnot. But you know, when it's all said and done, you know what? Maybe high school was the turning point in her life. You know, I'm not saying that what she does is the greatest thing in the world, but she's an entertainer. You know, yeah, she probably has a plastic behind and some fake breasts or whatever, however you want to go down about it. But when it's all said and done, you know, it's not like where she went to school at was a nice area. You know, she went through some stuff in her childhood, just like everybody goes through her childhood. You know, if she made something big out of herself using what she needed to do, I mean, I think the camera thing is whack. The camera excuse is real whack, because they could have been like, hey, if you do this, you can't have cameras here. You know, so that's whack completely. You know, if you're gonna give me a reason, at least give me something like halfway legit. Because if you'd have been like, yo, you can't have cameras, and then she said, nah, then you know what it's really about. But if she was like, yeah, I just wanted to come back and be like, look, you know, you can make something of yourself, yada, yada, yada. Give her 30 minutes of speaking and make herself feel better, maybe give something back. Because the problem that we have is a lot of people don't want to give anything back. And then we have somebody who claims to want to give something back, and we don't want to give them the opportunity to do so. Well, what kind of people are we then?
No, I can dig it. Ain't no half Steppin Marcus. I actually tend to agree with you on that one, Ruben. But I understand where the ladies are coming from. It's Nicki Minaj, and you oftentimes are a victim of your own reputation. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is I have never in my life seen Nicki Minaj in the limelight for anything that I personally would deem positivity. And so when you want to come back to your high school, we love that you want to come back to your high school. We love the fact that your high school had such a positive influence on your life. That's really cool. But you know what? The reason why you're famous are not reasons that we deem to be positive. And so, I'm going to go ahead and pass on you coming through. I think them using the cameras is whack. I agree that's whack, because you could have just said no. You ain't even have to give no reason. Why do you have to give a reason? Just say no. And if you want to say no because you shake your ass and you have very crass music, then say that. You know, I saw that Anaconda video, and, you know, while I'm not blind, I do like, you know, an attractive woman. It's questionable to me whether she's one of them. You know, that's just my opinion. And that video was not nothing to be proud of. And you want that person to go back to a high school and speak to kids? What you gonna say? If you wear a bra half a size too small, you might get the right guys to look at you. If you say the N-word and shake your ass and twerk all over the stage, you might make a whole lot of money. What's she gonna say? Really? I mean, I don't see how. I brought this up as a story because I thought that it was interesting. Her outrage. I thought her outrage was quite comical, to be honest with you. Like, it was one of those, you know, it was one of those, you know, 1950, I can't drink at this water fountain. You can't drink at the water fountain because you black. And like, you didn't know you couldn't drink at that water fountain? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You don't know that you can't come back to your high school and talk to the kids, which are probably at least half girls, because you shake your ass? No. What the hell is wrong with you, Nicki Minaj? And what she do? She went to Twitter to get sympathy. And now you got 18 million people kissing that ginormous fake ass gluteus.
Somebody on there put it to her right. Somebody has.
Come on.
But that's not. But you don't. But the point is, the point of the situation is the school handled it wrong.
The school handled it wrong.
I agree.
They
They
basically fell right into
They
it.
should have kept it 100.
Yep.
They should have kept it 100.
Keep 100.
They should have kept it 100 and be
Yeah.
like, nah, yo, you not somebody that we proud of. You know, I mean, you got to be mean. So no, don't say it like that. I probably
I
went too
agree
far.
that they
But
should have just told the truth about it. You know,
I mean, you
but-
ain't even got to tell the truth. This would have been one. That's why where you could have just said no, thank you, and kept it moving. Like you didn't have to say, like and I'm clowning, embellishing a little bit to kind of make my point. But you ain't got to do all that. All you got to say is no, thank you. That's it. You ain't got to say no because we think that you're not a good role model. That's mean spirited. You ain't got to do that. You know what I mean? But then when you come out with, well, we don't like cameras on. And then the school board, they threw the principal under the bus. Because they was like, yo, we don't like cameras here, but it's up to him or her.
Yeah.
You know what I
set
mean?
them up.
Yeah,
They could
that's
have been
bull
like,
crap,
thank
'cause-
you, but no thanks.
Yeah, man.
And kept it moving.
And kept it 100. Ain't no
But
has-
you know,
I'm sorry, Ruben. Go ahead.
no, I mean, I guess my whole thing about it is, you could have had her there. You couldn't have had it there. It's whatever. One, they messed up because they didn't handle it in the correct situation. So basically, now she looks like a martyr.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
You know, and two, you know what? I think it's real messed up that we think is wrong for some people to go back to their school or whatever, because you know what? She may have a story. Maybe her growing up, a whole bunch of crap went bad. And because of the music department in school, yada, 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 and she could have gave him some money or whatever like that. But when it's all said and done, when you got TV shows like T.I. and Tiny raising kids on TV, and he went from, Mr. Trap Man to I need to raise my 5 kids right, and we're going to do fun stuff, but I'm going to tell them how it really is. Come on, man. And then you're not going to let Nicki Minaj come to your school? Hell, people pay to watch T.I. They could have got that for free.
but that's
Right,
different.
but T.I.
But that's-
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. T.I. He's done, his stupid stuff. He's gotten arrested, he's got weed and all that.
Twice.
Right. However, one, he is an extremely intelligent man. So to see T.I. is just not a rapper. He's not just a rapper, and that's as far as it goes. T.I. is someone who contributes. Like, I know people who follow him on Facebook. I don't personally follow him, but he actually, posts some pretty insightful things. He does have a family, and he's showing people this is how you be a father to your children. This is how you treat your wife. This is what a husband is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj talks about penises and vaginas.
Hold on. You talking about the rubber
And how
band
she
man,
likes-
then
and
talk
how she
about some
likes-
crazy stuff?
I think with the point, and Tony, you can defend yourself, but I think what you were saying, and I tend to agree with you, is that after he's had his transgressions, his legal issues, he has shown the propensity to have positivity, based on his show, based on some of the community efforts he's had. And, we're not going to be disingenuous here. We know the difference between T.I. and Nicki Minaj. I don't think that that's one that we should even really debate, because I have never. Now, I will say this about Nicki. I did watch her on American Idol, and I found her to be very intelligent, well-spoken, and articulate, which exasperated me even more, because I found myself asking, why do you do the bullshit? You know what I mean? Because you're smarter than that. And that's why I was doing the things with the figures to suggest money. And you're right. That's what it is. And that's what a lot of these, entertainers do. They do it for the money. But, I think that before you're outraged about them not allowing you to come speak to the kids, you got to look in the mirror. You got to make a choice. You want to make the money, or you want to be a community activist. In some cases, depending on what you're doing to make that money, you can't have it both ways.
Community activists.
Exactly. And so in some instances, you can't have it both ways. This is one of them.
I guess what I'm saying is we're quick to forgive T.I. for his transgressions.
I don't think anybody's forgiving T.I. though. The difference is not It's not about forgiving. I think the difference is he has shown, and he has had repentance for some of the things he's done because he has shown you that he is capable of other things. What has Nicki Minaj shown you she's capable of?
And she's supposed to show repentance of what she does.
How?
Oh, I'm asking.
But what I mean, if T.I., you know, is carrying guns and selling drugs and all of that kind of stuff, and he comes back and he says to you, you know what, I was living wrong. I shouldn't have been doing those things. The best thing for me to do is to raise my family, live with my wife, teach these boys, be in the community and all that kind of stuff. That's what he did to show his relevance to go speak to some high school students. What has Nicki Minaj done besides Anaconda and Super Bass?
I mean, you know what? I don't know. That doesn't mean she doesn't.
Well, you just put up T.I.
Well, no, but we had this conversation about Kobe Bryant months ago when people didn't think Kobe Bryant does stuff, but Kobe Bryant does a whole bunch of stuff
he does,
that people don't know about.
And I also, in that conversation, and I'll say again that those people, when I say those people, I mean entertainers, athletes, entertainers, whoever they are, my opinion, and you disagreed then and you'll probably disagree now, but I think those people, particularly the ones that came from the hood, have a greater responsibility to give back and to be seen giving back. Not just giving back, because you know why? Everybody sees me going in the Foot Locker to buy your sneaker. Yep. Everybody sees me in the hood rocking your sneaker. You can't show me that you care by publicly showing up in a gym and giving away a couple of sneakers. You can't do that. That's a punk move. And anybody who ain't willing to do it is a punk to me. That's why the dude that wore number 45 in the latter stages of his Chicago Bulls career is a punk to me. Because this is a dude that'll sit on a golf course and smoke his cigar while little kids is fighting over $10 sneakers that are overpriced at $250, and he's counting his money. I don't even say his name because he's a punk to me. And you know how Steppin with Marcus J. We're going to move on. Last thing I want to get to is this preacher man who went to jail in South Carolina. Why did the preacher man go to jail in South Carolina? Because he was praising too loud. That's why. He was praising too loud. I'm getting this one from news1.com. This is about Pastor Apostle Johnny Clark. He's facing a 2-week jail stint, reportedly allowing his congregants to praise the Lord too loudly. According to WLTX, the Good Rev heads the Rehoboth United Assemblies Church and has violated the city noise limits of Columbia, South Carolina by singing, shouting, dancing, and drumming. And his neighbors have summoned police more than 50 times with complaints about the over-anointed holy rollers. This ain't me, y'all. I'm reading this from news1.com. The church has been a neighborhood fixture for 25 years, and as some folks move out of the area, new ones trickle in. The tolerance factor for the noise is apparently not the same. According to neighbors in the area who spoke to the news station, the church's musical sound amplification can be heard morning and night, with music being so reportedly loud that a few of them can actually feel the walls of their homes vibrate. Consequently, the church has paid countless fines regarding the noise, but now the courts decided to get together. Clark, who has been on trial for 3 days, was found guilty by a judge on Thursday for unlawful sound amplification. The only alternative to solving the neighbors' complaints, according to Clark, is to get the building soundproof, which is reportedly an expensive endeavor. He tells the news station, quote, "Everyone is just praying that this will be settled, but the only way I know is to go through a lot of expenses to soundproof the church." Meanwhile, Clark is being held at the Alvin S. Green Detention Center. Tony, I want you in on this one first. Yeah, I'm going to just want you in on this one first. What you got?
First, giving honor to God.
Oh, Lord.
Amen. Yes, sir.
My Lord and Savior,
Whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Make your point, whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's why I kind of have like some side comments over here, but I mean, this is in Columbia, South Carolina. This is a very, very, and I feel like I'm talking about race a lot tonight.
That's what we do on this show. We ain't scared to talk about
but
race.
Yeah, I mean, this is an area where, yeah, racism is still very prevalent, and, you know, they don't try to hide it and make it seem like it's not. But I can understand people not wanting to hear it all the time.
Now, let me ask you this. Because, again, y'all know me. I'm quick to play the race card. And I usually do it, in my opinion, when it's applicable. And I usually try to not do it when it's not applicable. I don't really see how it's applicable here. And here's why. I don't want to hear that mess no more than the next guy.
Right.
And every black church I ever been to is in the middle of a black neighborhood. And so
Not Columbia, South Carolina.
I said every church that I ever
I
been
understand
to
that. I
is
heard
in
you
the
say
middle
that
of a
you
black
went to.
neighborhood. And so, I mean, my guess is it's his own people that's snitching on him. And Columbia, South Carolina is, while it's in a conservative state, it's got a very large chocolate faction to it.
It's not his people.
How you know?
It's not his
How
people.
do you know?
It is.
And why does it
It
matter?
is the racists
How do you know? Why does it
Bunch of
matter?
crap.
who do not want to hear the black folks.
I don't want to hear that mess. I
Praise the
don't
Lord.
want to hear that either.
I think you can
But
take
you're
it
not
too
going to
far.
be
I do
calling.
think
You're not going to call
Why
50
not?
times.
Why
It's
not?
not that loud.
How you know? They
Bunch of
said
crap.
that it was vibrating their houses.
Bunch of crap.
I need to know why we are calling this a racial
So
issue.
me praising the Lord is going to vibrate the walls of your house?
I don't
Are
want
you
to hear
serious?
it. I don't want to hear it.
No, it's not. You don't.
If you've
you
got
don't want to
50
hear
calls,
it.
if you
That's
got-
what it is.
Okay.
You don't want to hear
So
it.
take out the semantics of it vibrating the house. Okay, take
I wanna
that.
know
Take
how-
that.
how
Take
me
that part out.
praising-
No, it's not about you praising.
Hey.
It's about you making noise
Hey.
that I don't want to hear.
I got
Disturbing the sanctity
Look.
of my house and my quiet.
It's-
I don't care that you praising the Lord. Maybe I'm an atheist.
Look,
And you probably
how
are,
about
or
this?
you're probably a racist.
Hold on for a second. Let's just be real. It's not about race. Why is it not about race? They have paid countless fines of noise. I'm sorry. When you play noise fines, you know what you're doing wrong. That's against the law. Noise fines are against the law, and you don't keep paying, and that's great. You can build a new road or whatever, but you know what? Eventually, people are going to get sick of that shit. And what's going to happen is you going to jail.
A big Rube Hakeem is chiming in. He says he don't want to hear it. He'll call the cops. Let Jesus post the bomb.
That's what I'm
right
talking
there
about.
with you.
That's
I'm
what-
right
it's-
there with
It's
you.
not about race.
I'm right there with
It
you.
is not about race.
For Hakeem, it's not about race.
It's not about
It's
race
not
at
a race
all.
for none of us. The three of us are sitting here
I
telling
know
you.
for you it's not.
I'm the guy who says that I talk about
You just
race
don't
all
want to
the
hear
time.
it. You just don't want to hear
I
it.
would-
So-
you
And
haven't
for
told
those-
me.
For those who don't believe in it,
You
you,
haven't
don't
told me.
want to
So-
hear it.
so-
I will
that's
listen
why.
if you tell me. How is it about
Hold
race?
on for a second. That's why. Is the countless fines about race too?
I don't
That
know.
they've.
I mean, what do you
They
mean? I don't
paid.
know.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you can't be half
Why
in
not?
one
Why
pocket
not?
and full in the other.
Why not?
Why would
Because-
they pay the fines?
Yeah, why
then?
they pay fines?
Why would they?
If it
pay
ain't
the
about
fines?
noise.
What will happen if he doesn't pay the fine?
Well, he's in
probably-
jail.
What will happen if he
probably
doesn't
get in
pay the
trouble.
fine?
He'll probably get in trouble for
All
it.
right, so I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I
but
don't.
if it was legitimately about race, don't you think that would be the story that we're
Yeah.
talking about?
Well,
White folks telling
well,
black
to
folks
be
that they
continued.
playing too loud.
I bet you that story
It
is
ain't to be continued. He's already in jail.
The story will be to be
I think
continued.
Why is
way
it?
out. You're
I
way off
think
on this
I
one.
think you a little touchy on this one.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's simple.
No.
It's one thing if this is his
No,
first
it's not
fine.
simple.
If this is his first fine, I might be able to roll with you on that. But he has paid They have paid countless
So
fines.
if he doesn't pay the fine, then what?
Well, he's in jail for 2 weeks and he's got to pay a fine. If you don't pay the fine, you're in contempt of court.
Well, then
If
how
you
many-
he'll be back
All
in jail
right,
anyway.
let's back up and let's simplify it. Let's back up and let's back up and simplify it. If you live in a neighborhood where there is noise, regardless of the demographic, don't you think that you're within your right to complain about the noise? Let's start there.
Yes.
You do agree?
Yes.
Okay, the attitude, you're killing me right now. All
You'll
right.
be all right.
All right.
50.
Hold up,
50
hold up,
times.
Ruben. I'm going somewhere with this. If you live in a neighborhood where you're getting noise inside your house, you would be annoyed about that. You complain about that. And so why would it be any different in this instance? And why do we assume and make the leap that this is anything about race? Because I'll be honest with you, I am a non-Christian,
I know
and that would annoy me. It would
Because you don't wanna
absolutely
hear it.
Exactly. I don't. That's the point.
But it
I
has
don't want to
nothing
hear
do-
it.
It's the type of noise that they're hearing.
No, I don't want to hear noise. I complain about the dog barking.
Whatever.
I'm
We'll-
thinking about
we'll-
what I can do about
And
that dog
then I'm gonna
that's
repeat after
barking.
you, and we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
But I mean,
You haven't said anything. That's
Okay,
the
to
point.
you.
You haven't
but,
said anything.
but
To
they
you.
violated the rules.
noise.
the noise
rules.
ordinance.
Yeah, they have those.
Okay, then what's the difference? What's the difference between the church making all of this noise and the college student that's playing loud hip hop music void of any profanity? No profanity. They playing Kid and Play too damn loud. What's the difference?
I don't know. I have to hear it.
What do you mean you have to hear it?
That's what I just said. I have to hear it.
You have to hear what?
Now you're just being defiant.
Yeah,
Yep.
now you're just being difficult. All right, and we'll just move on because I'm not even sure
Okay.
what's going on right now. You know, as Steppin, Marcus J. We are going to take our final break of the night. When we come back, we got our rants and we got our closings, and we're going to get SY out of here because she's not in a good mood. Marcus J. and the
I'm
crew
in a
be
great
back
mood.
in a few.